Greetings, world.
Greetings. Greetings, Kings, and greetings, Queen.
Greetings, peace, love, and light.
Positive energy to all. We are here, and this is MEN-talRollaDeK, and this is Rich Lamar. And for the audience who's been waiting on this, we had to postpone it. Circumstances beyond our control, but we are here to fulfill the promise. And we promised you sexual healing, and it is here, right now, right here. And some other guests might be joining us later. And feel free to make your comments and interact if you like. But this is Queen's Corner, and the queens are going to express themselves like they never expressed themselves before. We have, have Queen Cliche, we have Queen Kenya, and
Yeah.
we're not going to run from this issue, audience. So those of you who have your kids around, put your kids in another room, or you don't want them to
Mhm.
hear some truth about sexual healing, and those of you who want to hear the truth about all this, I'm just giving you a fair warning that, as you can see, we're not going to turn the other cheek, cheeks. So dealing with this,
Really?
so dealing with this issue, is it an issue? Is it a way of life? Is it a problem? Uh,
It depends on who you ask.
is it a must? Is it the devil made me do it? Is it the devil? Is it God? Is it shame? Is it disrespectful? Let's look at the word sex first of all, because I start the show off by asking a question that I let both queens answer. And the question is, okay, sex is often called making love. And we all know that love is a good thing. Love is healing. We're
Mhm.
talking about sexual healing. But sex is often called making love, or some people say, let's make love. Um, but is sex love? If if is sex love? It's called making love, but is sex love? And it's kind of a two-sided question. Um,
Mhm.
on one side of the coin, I'm asking the queens, is sex love? Now on the other side of that coin, if sex is not love, and we know that love is healing
Mhm.
and it heals. So one side of the question is sex love? And the other side is, if sex is not love, then why or how is it healing? That's the question. And we're going to start with, hmm, anyone can jump in on this if you like.
Okay. This is Queen Kenya. I am going to say that I believe it really depends on the perception of the person. Mm, for me, I'm going to say sex is not actually love. The act of sex is not love. Love can be within it in regards to the people who are intertwined within it and their intention while they're doing it. But just to have sex, that's not love. That's just an act. It can be an act of manifestation. It can be an act of something else because you have instances where people do sexual things and sexual acts with people who don't want it. That's not an act of love. If you're impressing your sexuality or in that sexual act on a child or a person who's in the process of being raped, that's not love. So I won't just say that sex itself is love. No, it's the intention that goes along with it, with the momentum that is built up between the people who are involved within it. That's how the love comes. The love comes through the vibration of the people who are connecting. That's how I see it.
Okay, now the other side of the coin is if sex is not love, why or how is it healing?
I believe that it heals through the action and the connection, um, with the people, the interaction of it. I really think it's really intention behind it. Let's just say, okay, if I take a step back, rewind, that the act of sex was created within mental, the purpose of it to inhabit love, to bring it to life, to bring that love force to life within people. But people can abuse it and misuse it. So if I rewind back, I can say, yes, the act of sex has love within it, but people misuse it and abuse it in regards to the way that I spoke of it, as far as sexual imposing, rapes and sexual molestation, things of that nature. So the intention, again, behind it is what makes the difference. But within it itself, the healing aspect, the love within it shall always remain. Perhaps, yes, but it's more of the intention of what's actually happening in the midst of it. So yeah, I would say yes, it's actually healing and the love is there, but it's also like how the people perceive it that they're actually encountering. Because a lot of people have sex all the time, but I don't know if they're really allowing themselves to heal within that moment. Some people just doing stuff, but we'll get into that. I'm gonna leave it alone for now
Mm.
because I know we're gonna get into that.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
oh, go ahead, Rich. You about to say something?
No, I was about to invite you. Well, we have another guest. Hello, Queen. Is that Jim? The Jim is here. So
Hello.
hello, the
Sorry.
Jim is here.
Hello.
So I think Sister Brachet was about to answer. Then we're gonna get to you, the Jim.
Okay.
All right. As far as uh, the sex and love thing, you know, I totally agree with Queen with her earlier response, uh, and also too, the maturity level and the perception of the people, the persons involved, you know, usually would determine, whether or not what that looks like for them. But as for me, sex and love is two so totally different things. Um, Sex is what it is. It is an act, but also, if outside of people misusing it and misusing and abusing people, but when you looking at the act of consensual sex, both both parties involved, it takes place long before the actual physical act. It takes place from eye contact, conversation, uh, all of that builds up to a beautiful, can be, build up to a beautiful sex session. Now if the two people that are involved have grown and matured in their relationships and love is the title for each other, I love you and I love you too, then I mean it could be one or two things. It could be, it could see is it is a sexual act, but love is involved, so it, can in turn heighten the sexual experience. So I believe that it is two different things. And love can be a part of it and just take it to the next level. And I think, some people, when they is sex, they just have this sex sexual prowess about them. So every intention is strategic with every partner, not necessarily because this person, they're in love with this person, but that's just because of their sexual nature. And so I think, again, it just really depends on the person and, the people involved and what comes with it. But yes, I do see that there is a difference between love and sex. And that's my final answer.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to. I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna let the gym express her answer. Would you like to hear the question again?
No, I don't need to. I still remember. But I just have to agree with the two queens. Um, it is very two separate things, and it's all about the intentions behind those acts. Um, and their explanations really hit the nail on the head with it for me as well. So that's pretty much my take on it.
Okay, so
Mhm.
the gym has agreed with Pache and Kenya basically Pache and Kenya is saying that yeah, okay, sex is not love, correct?
Right.
Sex,
Yeah.
but sex, but love can express itself through sex. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, so the topic is sexual healing.
Mm-hmm.
So if love, we all know that love is a healing existence,
Mm-hmm.
but in sexual healing, um, like I said, we're gonna dive deep into this, and I'm not asking you, queens, to express your intimate secrets, and you don't have to make it personal in your descriptions, but that would help.
I'm here for it. Go ahead.
All right.
I'm here for it as well.
So we hear about this thing called foreplay, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for foreplay.
Okay.
But then again, I'm all for afterplay too, where there's foreplay, there's the sexual action, and then after
Mm-hmm.
the ejaculation or the orgasms,
Mm-hmm.
I I do afterplay,
Mm-hmm.
which some people call it cuddling or whatever you desire to do after the sexual action has satisfied.
Right.
I'm into afterplay, where I can have sex all day long, and that necessarily means intercourse. This is why I refer to when I'm talking about healing.
Yes, the
That-
intimacy aspect.
Yes.
Mhm.
So if the action of sex, if intercourse was not called sex,
Mm-hmm.
how would you ladies explain it?
With
Hmm.
one word or with the definition?
No, how would you explain sex without the word intercourse and sex?
Bonding, a bonding experience, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah,
say
but
it's more.
to make it where it cannot be misunderstood, where bonding
Okay.
can be something that's not sexual.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
A pleasurable, erotic moment that is shared
Okay.
between two people that may take them to ecstasy if explored
Okay.
appropriately.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
What
Okay.
what Shay ran out on us?
Be not down, know where she at. Hopefully she come back.
You can run, but you can't
Uh,
hide. Just
hmm.
you can come
How
back
would
to you, the
I?
gym. Actually, Pache was I was gonna have Pache go next, but
If we can get it back.
she left the building. But Queen Kenya said, uh, she said the word erotic,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, and what I'm getting at is everybody had sex.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about the people that's not virgin. If you had sex now we all love the sensation,
Mm-hmm.
but some people may call it erotic, some people may call it freaky, some people may call it, and men have all of these names that's just, give them a false sense of power. I knocked it out. You
Mm-hmm.
ladies heard all of this before, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When men go, hey, I knocked it out. And then I've heard so many times men say, I knocked it out. And then when I talk to the same female, that same queen that they knocked it out, they tell me that they didn't knock it out.
Right.
You hear all of
Men are
these,
very egotistical.
right? You hear all of these things that people label sex with. I knocked it out. I freaked out sex, or we banged it, bang it out, and all of this. Now,
Oh, we
when sex,
smashed.
what is that?
Smashed.
Oh yeah,
Hook
smash,
up.
hook up,
Oh, I'm back.
all of that,
Yeah,
and
man, what I
all
miss?
of the.
I'm so
uh,
upset.
Well, we're gonna get back to you, Sister Bachet. What we're talking about is all the names that sex is given. But correct me if I'm wrong. Out of all the names that you hear sex, if you go to different parts of the state or different parts of the country, they had a name for sex and how it's done, and how they banged it out, how they knocked it out, how they wore it out. I killed it. You hear all of these things. But I think we hear the word healing with sex less than all those other words.
Right.
right.
You know, could you, Queens, explain? Have you ever had a sexual experience to where you felt the healing and was never the same? You don't have to
Yes.
mention any names. I've
Okay, you
Queen.
said you said a sexual experience that you said it has never been the same. I mean,
no, I'm
say
saying,
that again.
have you ever felt the healing after sex? Have you ever felt a healing
Heal.
or differently after having sex?
Mm.
This is a quick answer.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, I have. Yes.
I have. Mm-hmm.
I have. I have as
I.
well.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, so, so all of you have. Okay, now
Uh
that's
huh.
that's that's a quick answer. Now, because women tell me, some women tell me they never had an orgasm. They don't know
That's
anything
sad.
about sex being healing.
Mhm.
Some women told me they don't
That's
know
because
anything
they're
about
virgin.
sex being healing.
Mm-hmm.
They never had an orgasm. Now, I understand that women don't have orgasm every time,
Right.
and here's
Mm-hmm.
another quick answer. And like I said, we laying it all on the table because people want to know. People want to know, male and female, because a lot of people don't want to talk about this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a question for the ladies to, to help educate the kings out there. I want you ladies to honestly answer, does size of a penis matter? And penis has more names than sex, the dick or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Does size matter, and why or why not? Now, anybody can go first.
Anxious. Okay, I'll jump in here. Um, I am going to say yes for me because that's a preference. But at the same time, if you have something big and you don't know what to do with it, then that's a problem. So, yes, because that's my preference. But if you don't know how to work it, we still got an issue.
And I just want to play off of Queen's answer there because yes, yes, for me too, that's a preference. And if you don't know how to work it, we ain't got nothing to discuss. But also, it's about if you're paying attention to me.
Exactly.
There you
Okay.
go. Yes.
If you
And
can't stimulate me in any way, then we ain't got nothing to discuss either.
right.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
just to
So
kind
Jim,
of,
you made it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay. I was about to say you got okay. I got an answer too. Hold up, bro.
Oh, I thought. Oh, you Jay's back. All right.
Yeah. With the queens as well. A size, plays a huge part in it. No pun intended. Plays a huge part in it. And
Hmm.
but you can't walk around talk about what you got going on in between your legs when you only got three pumps in you.
Oh,
Right.
And that's it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
mean, no, because see, at that point, then I'm gonna fight you because I'm mad that I don't took off a sock. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't make me take off a sock and that's all you got.
Right.
So but it does play a part now. However, it is, from my experience, I can't speak for any other sister, sometimes it's not the size of the ship, it is the motion of the ocean.
The
So I've
motion.
had,
Hmm.
yeah. So I've had brothers who may not have been like hanging and swinging, but because they were very, very passionate in their love making and they
mm-hmm.
knew the right spots, they were paying
Yeah.
attention to me. And I mean,
Hmm.
paying attention to what works, what didn't work, just really fell into, just a nice connection. And I
Hmm.
appreciate that brother as well. So, so that's my experience. So, because, I've had we've all probably read across that brother who may have had the size but didn't have the stamina.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you gonna have it, you better have the stamina with it.
Exactly.
So
Okay. So did you brothers hear that? We be at 100%. This is mental roller deck. We lay it on the table, and we got three queens that's gonna give it to you. So look, if you like I said, let the kids leave the room, go out and play in another room or in the backyard, or if you can't take it, just wait for the syndication. Now,
Just a little quick note before you switch up. Just a little quick note for the fellas. It's always good to research what enhances erections, stamina,
oh,
natural enhances. It's good for you to look up that for yourself. Make sure you're eating well, eating healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Pumpkin
there
seeds
you go.
really help
Speak
in
it.
that area.
Girl,
Sesame
you better
seeds
give
really
you
help
better
in
give
that
you better
area.
give them that information, sis. Give it
Yes,
to
Okay.
because
them.
blueberries,
And
berries, there are different things, almonds that you can eat that help in that area. You need to stop eating all that other junk, especially within a 24-hour period, maybe 48. If you know you finna get it in, you might want to
okay.
flush your system and eat some good stuff so you can keep it up. I'm just saying.
and keep it up in more ways than one.
Yes.
Hmm.
All right,
Hmm, hmm,
fellas.
hmm.
Now, fellas, I want you to grab a pencil and a paper or grab your computer, your cell phone, because we about to go in. We're about to go inside the vagina, and it's not
Cause
gonna
I'm glad
be
you about to say that. I just wanted to add something though.
okay.
You might, for the kings, you might want to pay attention to the vagina too, cause that tells you. That is your
Right.
guide of all things. It will tell you what it don't like and what it do like.
Hmm.
Oh,
You gotta
okay.
watch for
So,
those
so
signs.
Yeah, look at it. Don't be afraid to look at it.
Don't, okay? Notice
Mm.
every unique
Don't just
trait
be trying to
about
put your
it.
stuff down there without looking at it.
Mm.
Don't just be feeling
Mm.
for it. Look at it. Look at it.
But queens too, they have to be comfortable with looking at themselves down there too. Cause queens don't, they don't be feeling They don't even know what their vajayjays look like. Real talk.
I know what mine do.
Okay.
I got that wop.
I second the
Yeah.
notion. I like that. I like that.
Pick up Pache. Sister Pache ran out again. Y'all can't be getting Sister Pache hot when she's leaving and coming back.
I think she's
So,
getting kicked. She said the StreamYard kicked her off the last time. So I think she's getting kicked off and then she has to come back in.
okay, so you kings out there, you taking notes. Now you hear we got two beautiful queens up here saying, don't be afraid to look at it, and don't be afraid to take the vagina tour guide with
Kiss it if
um
you need to.
kiss
Yes.
kiss
Let
it
me
if
let
you
me
need
say
to.
let me say this as well, brothers. Don't be afraid to, especially if this is somebody that you've been seeing and you've been seeing for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You really want to get to know your lady. You need to be able to smell her essence everywhere. You need to
Mm.
know that the woman that you're dealing with is a clean woman. She need to be eating right, and it's fruits and stuff, fruits and good vegetables and good water for her to eat, so she can keep the yoni popping down there too. Like,
Okay.
who is gonna want to explore the woman body, female body? Let me rephrase my word. The female body and that area, if it's not clean, number one, if it ain't smelling good, number two. And that, I don't mean overpowering it with bath and body wash and all that. No, that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the freshness of the essence of a woman. So when a woman eats right, when she cares for herself and loves on herself, that essence is going to be protruded out of the vagina. Now, you get all that good smell good going on. You need to be turned on by that good smell good. You need to be looking and paying attention to what's going on down there. And you got to be able to be comfortable enough with this woman that you want to be sexually interactive with to be able to let go and just be yourself. Be free. Let the ego
Right.
go. Just be
Right.
free.
Right.
Y'all be too much in y'all head, in y'all brains, and not enough in the head, in the penis when it comes to actually doing the act. Sometimes. I can't speak for all men, but sometimes I've had those experiences with some men. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Okay. And that being said, we're gonna keep them honest, King. So make sure you're taking notes out there. So basically, for those of you who just joined us, we're talking about sexual healing, and we have three beautiful queens up here who really being honest. And very seldom people are honest. Everybody's having sex, but very seldom you get honesty in the action of
Mhm.
sex, whether it's love or not. So take advantage of this time and take notes and look at what these queens are saying. Because Queen's Corner is about helping queens and men. Now, we already got our clothes off, everybody. So,
Mhm.
and they're saying, don't be afraid of looking at the vagina. Don't be afraid of looking at it. Don't be and Jim says, don't be afraid to kiss it. There's one thing where you might not want to look at it, and there's one thing is kissing it.
Mhm.
Now, basically, the queens are saying, leave fear at the doorstep. And once they let you in this precious, this healing
Queen.
place of sex, once the queens let you in this precious situation, this healing atmosphere, feel free. Now, that being said, I want you queens to expound on the action of sex when it comes to anal? Do you like it, dislike it? Would you like to explore it? I'm going to start with Shay Ran again.
She's still there. She's there.
Okay, since we
Yeah.
have our clothes off and we have the vagina out and we're telling the truth about it. We're in a healing environment here. The anus is very close to the vagina,
Mm-hmm.
very close.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a place of stimulation. Now, in sexual healing, stimulation doesn't have to be intercourse. There could be
Right.
stimulation in a look. There could be stimulation in foreplay. There could be stimulation
Knowledge.
in
Okay.
well, you know, I'm a romantic. You know, I'm a romantic, but my my romance can turn into I flow with the romance. It could get rough, it could get sensual, it could get deep, it could be superficial, but I roll with it and let it direct and move me, whether it's from the dinner table or cooking together or in the jacuzzi or the bathtub or shower and the massage, and I go through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to anal sex,
Mm.
for the woman receiving anal sex,
Mm-hmm.
how do you queens feel about anal sex? And let the men know about there out there. Um, how do you feel about anal sex? Do you mind or you don't mind? If you if you don't care about it, I want to know why. And if you do care about it, or you may be anal curious, I want to know why. Anyone can go.
I
Ladies.
care about it.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, oh, okay. I care about it. Honestly, I've tried it and I think it has the potential to be very pleasurable. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when the necessary steps and precautions are taken
Mm-hmm.
into doing it. But it's not something that I just do casually.
I check. That's that
Hmm.
part right there.
Right.
Like it has to be with a partner that I'm dealing with, has been dealing with for a long
Trust.
period of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I just pop up and be like, let's do it like that. Like, nah, that
Mm-hmm.
ain't it. That ain't it.
Okay, I want you to expound, Jim, the right precautions, meaning.
Meaning, okay, so when you're doing anal, like I've just from the experiences that I have, it's all about the woman, the queen, and if she's relaxed or not for you to even get in there. So
Right.
I mean, like right there is like a precaution. It tells you if that person that you're with is relaxed enough to even let you in that deep. For me, in
Mm-hmm.
my eyes, that's why
Hmm.
I'm just like, you have to first there's levels, right? We got to think about this as
Exactly.
levels.
That's right.
So that
Exactly.
when you talking anal, that's kind of high up.
Mm-hmm. You done
That's
earned
where
it.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
tell you.
You done
You
earned it.
earned it. Because, I mean, for one, you have to realize that going back to what we said earlier about, the yoni and it being a guide, you can tell right then and there if a woman is into what with the sexual act that you're doing, if the yoni is really producing, water, our
Right.
our our lubricant. That's a guy right then and
Hmm.
there. So if that's not working, then you can cancel anal. That's
Mm-hmm.
dead.
No
That's
doubt.
dead.
Exactly.
But there's also have to be that intimate connection. Not just I wouldn't just say intimately, but it has to be a stronger connection there for anal to even get to the pleasure heights that it can take us.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
we're gonna
wanna
come
go to
back.
Shay?
Oh.
Queen, Queen is like, I'm going last, y'all.
Uh-huh.
I can go now. I'm just being nice and letting
No,
everybody
no,
else speak first.
no. I agree. I agree with my sister, the gem, and because it's, have I done it? Yes. Um, it was all right. It wasn't. It didn't do anything for me, and I mean, it was so. And it was somebody, that I've been with for quite some time, and we tried it, and but the connection just wasn't there for me. I felt the disconnect, so I couldn't enjoy it, and I just felt like that this wasn't really for me, it was really for him. And
Mm-hmm.
so I really couldn't get into it. So I've kind of been gun shy about that since then. So and it hasn't ran across my mind and said, "Oh, I want to share this with this person." Because it is to me, it is an act of exclusivity. You know what I'm saying? And this is not for everybody. It's for that
Mm-hmm.
person that you've been
Right.
connected with. They know your body, and y'all have this
Mm-hmm.
balance and this chemistry, and that person knows not to go too far. If it hurts you, they're considerate, whatever, so you have that understanding. And the person that I was with, we were together for quite some time, but it was one of those things that, because I couldn't get an enjoyment out of it, it became the same for him, because he was just like, "Ah, I know that you're not connected with it, and I want us to be connected while we're intimate." So it became a mutual thing, because he can tell that it wasn't something that I was gravitating towards. I don't knock it, at all, because it could have been, it could have been the wrong person. But like I said, I haven't come to that threshold again to make me want to commit to that. So like I said, I just been gun shy every since. But I don't knock it, because I know that it can be an arousal sense, and a stimulation in it, if it's done properly and the connection is there. So.
Yeah. Now me.
Hmm.
I'm definitely going to say that I care. I care about anal. I agree with both queens that have already spoken. It is an exclusive act. I believe that it's definitely something that you share with someone that you're really connected with, um, that knows your body. You know
Hmm.
theirs, and they know you, and that there's a for me it has to be a sense of trust. I have to trust you because
Hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
how I
Definitely.
am in that way. Now I will because I like it. I like anal stimulation. Period. I'm not just talking about penile penetration. I'm talking about putting your mouth down there, put your tongue in it, lick it, everything, all of that. I like all of that.
Right,
So
y'all
when
heard
it
that.
Yeah.
comes
Y'all
to
heard
that
that.
aspect, right? So when it comes to that aspect, if I'm going to allow you to go in, then you have to be someone who I trust and respect. And I know that you respect me. So if at any point I'm like, nah, I'm good, you're going to stop. Because
Right.
especially for women who don't practice this often, even if you have a partner that you do that with, if you're not doing that often, it's like starting over again every time you do it. So you gotta
Yep.
you gotta ease into it. And it is some ways of doing it. It's some steps. You gotta make sure you clean. It's different steps to doing that. If you're gonna do it the right way and get
Hmm.
down and dirty with it, you need to make sure that you're taking the steps to keep it clean and keep it healthy because it's not just an
Hmm.
experience that's just for the moment. You don't want to tear your woman's a hole out. Like that's not what you want to
Hmm.
do. You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
make it to where it's like uncomfortable to the fact, well, she's so sore that she ain't gonna let you back in. Like so it has to be a knowing and an understanding and an appreciation of going somewhere that normally you would not go. On the flip side of that, I'm also very into brothers who are comfortable enough in their own skin, in their own masculine and feminine energy, to allow the same thing to happen to them to an extent. Now, not saying I want to penetrate you and go in, but just being aroused in the couch area, and even maybe let me lick there or kiss you there. You know what I'm saying? And not having feeling a way about it. So to be able to share both experiences in that way, that's me on that.
Well, you heard it right here on Mental Rolodeck, man. It's called Mental Rolodeck, and I know the Rolodex is rolling. You're not going to hear this truth from nowhere else. And since we have our clothes off and we are being intimate, and those of you who just joined us, this is not a sex show. This is not a porno show. This is not a show to where we're just exploiting and talking about women as a pleasure unit. We're talking about sexual healing. And as Kenya expressed so honestly, and all the queens are expressing this honestly, but when it comes to sexual healing, the queens are being honest enough to tell you that the anus can be involved. And um, in pornography, and let me just say this, me being holistic, I when it comes to sex, I look at it as being holistic, the whole thing. So I'm not only making love, so to speak, or having sex, so to speak, with the woman's vagina. I'm just not about intercourse or insertion. I'm I'm into the whole body from the head to toe.
Hmm.
I'm into pleasing. The penis is something that has to be ready, and the vagina has to be comfortable and to accept the penis. Now there's all
Hmm.
different sizes of sausage. There's all different sizes. There's all type of things out there. But when the vagina is is moist for you, that's a big sign. That's a privilege.
Hmm.
Very much so.
That's and for the especially for the young men that's listening, it's a privilege. The vagina is a privilege. It must be earned, and that door swing both ways.
Mhm.
Uh, and in saying that, my, what does holistic has to do with this? Because the penis inserts the woman, the queen is on the receiving end.
Hmm.
This means it's your job to stimulate correctly. The woman is on the receiving end holistically, not just sexually, but entirely. She's on the receiving end of gifts, of being protected, being you must
Hmm.
she must feel protected. She must feel like you're the knight in shining armor. And this would make sex better and healing when a woman feels safe, when a woman likes your every gesture and move. And the woman has a job to do also that's just different from the men. I'm just saying that the woman is on the receiving end. So when she's ready to receive, you must produce. This is why the woman can be ready to have sex, but she can't have sex if the erection is not there. She can't have
Exactly.
a relationship with you if you're not being a man, and she's feeling protected and she's feeling stimulated and she's feeling appreciated. That's another form of having an erection. There can be an erection financially, there can be an erection holistically. In every way, shape, and form, the woman must feel appreciated.
Hmm.
Because when she feels appreciated, you can you can really embrace the healing of sex because the whole body is there, not just the vagina, but the nipples, the areola, the toes. The If you look at a woman's body and when it's really fresh and ready, and that's the woman's job to stay fresh, to stay ready,
Mm-hmm.
because there's not an area of a woman's body that doesn't stimulate a man.
Mm-hmm.
From the hands, the nails, the toes, the I I do the whole body from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're really into somebody, you're into head to toe. You're sucking toes, you're sucking anal, you're sucking every you're licking and sucking everything. Now,
Yeah.
this is a passion, but when it's compassion, it's healing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a difference between compassion and just passion.
Right.
Now, now that we're really into this, and and you ladies have cleared up the anal situation for men. And men, feel free to ask questions about anal and sex while you can, while you have this opportunity. Now, when it comes to ejaculation, when it comes to oral sex, do you women enjoy oral sex and the 69, I call it? I love 69. I think it's a very passionate position. I think it's a very passionate position. All positions are great, but 69 I normally start with. Anyway,
Mhm.
it's not about me.
I
Oral
like
sex.
69.
Okay, now
I like
oral
both.
sex.
I love oral sex, but it has to be with the right person.
Right.
Okay, yeah, well
It,
that's that. You queens established that you have integrity, and the right person is a given. Now
okay.
now now the what the men need to know, and some ladies need to be educated on, is how do women feel about the semen, the cum? Are you swallowers? Do you like it on your face, or would you like it just inside of you or on your body? How free are
Okay.
you of this cum?
Let me let me speak on this real quick for the brothers. This is Queen Kenya.
Okay.
This is my preference. Just hear this out. I don't mind swallowing if I know that the brother is in good health. I'm not about to be swallowing nothing because I am a vegetarian, almost plant based completely. I'm not finna be swallowing nothing from no brother that's still eating beef and chicken and all that other stuff. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm good on that. I'm gonna tell y'all why. It tastes different. A man who's completely vegan, plant based, vegetarian, or just eating more fruits and vegetables, it tastes different.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more sweeter.
Mm.
Is anything going in my face? Hell to the motherfucker. No, nah, I'm good on that. I think some
Whoa.
men have gotten into that because of what they see on porn. Well, I'm not that broad. Maybe the next woman may like it or do it. That's me speaking. I don't want it in my face. My face is beautiful. And unless you eating like the vegan man, and I know you got some good in that semen that's gonna help clean my face, maybe if I let you get in my anal area, then you might be able to get it on my face. But just in general, no, I'm not gonna do that. Don't like it. Now you can put it on my back, you can put it on my chest, you can put it wherever else you want to put it at, but in my face, no. Mm-mm. That's me.
You're not
So,
gonna get away with that.
What you mean?
Ain't no that's me and that's it.
Well, what
You
what
you
what
got
else would you like for me to say?
Wait, who am I talking to?
You
Is
want
this
me to
Kenya or
expound
Jim?
it? Yes, this is Queen Kenya. What else would you
Okay.
like for me to say?
Oh, that was I thought Kenya said that's me. I thought Jim said that's me. But
No.
that's you ending your answer, right, Kenya?
Yeah, yeah. That was me ending.
Okay, Jim, how you
So
feel
Jim
about
can
that,
go now.
Jim?
okay. Um, I think for me. Like Queen Kenya said, I have to agree. You know, if you want some healthy type stuff, then we could talk. Cause it's very different just in the experiences that I've had. And honestly, you can tell when a brother is healthy. Most healthy is through their semen. And my last experience, it was tasteless almost, but it was a nice kind of tasteless. It was just like, okay, I probably could do this for a little minute. I can do this every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Okay.
mind though. It
Okay.
really just depends on the flow and the vibe that we got going on whenever we're in the act. So, I'm just as free as the next person, honestly. Now, Queen Kenya,
Okay. Free.
I'm gonna say this though, like I don't mind it going on my face, like I just be like, okay, so that's the vibe we on right now. Okay, cool, but they gotta be healthy. I do agree with you on that one.
Mhm. And I will say
Okay.
that I will swallow regardless. I will swallow. But
Oh
if you
yeah,
ain't right, I'm spitting it out. I'm gonna swallow
oh,
regardless, but I'm not swallowing all the way. I'll just put it in my
look,
mouth and hold it and then go spit it
and
out.
my mouth has a whole mechanism where if it don't like it, it's automatically regurgitated
Coming
out.
out.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not going nowhere. It's not even about to sit there for you. Like it's just like, ew. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Okay. So Jim, I'm just not talking about the face area. I'm talking about all the other areas. What you accept or reject.
Well, like I'm very open and free. It's just about whatever vibe we got going. Like you could do it on my face, my back, my chest. Shoot, my leg. If that's where you trying to hit it at, it don't matter. I honestly, for me, it's more intense whenever I see the king get off in a
Hmm.
really, ooh, I don't know. It's like an ecstasy point for me. It's just like, ooh, okay, that was a good one, wasn't it? That's just me. So it's like wherever you trying to hit it at in that very moment, okay, I'm cool with it because that's gonna turn me on even more. Ooh,
Oh, so that's real. That's real interesting because men need to hear that. So, because men, speaking from a man's standpoint, men are territorial, and so are women. But when it comes to sex, we are predators sometimes, and we are dominant, and we
Hmm.
like to mark our territory in more ways than one, and we like to have the woman really enjoying it, really putting it down. And Jim,
Hmm.
Jim says something very important. She likes to see the man satisfied. That means
Hmm.
that makes you feel more appreciated, Jim. It makes you feel that, oh yeah, this is the bomb because you
well,
was with
go
because
ahead.
he was with the best. Because he was with the best, this is why he's really enjoying it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That's
Yeah,
exactly
and
what it is for me.
yeah, that's good for men to know. And uh, uh, uh,
Rich, you going in and out.
shave it, man. Can you hear me now? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Sister Pashay's back. Can you hear me?
It says she's there, but I think she said in the chat that she was backstage. So I don't know if she has to
Okay.
get on.
Okay. Now, moving forward, and I want the people who's listening. Can you hear me? Okay, Jim and Kenya.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we're talking about sex beyond the surface of it. We're talking about the intimacy and the things that everybody keeps private.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people do this. A lot of people have more questions. I know when I speak about sex publicly, I see people cringe in their seats. I'm talking about
all the
adults.
time.
I'm talking about adults, right?
Grown adults.
Grown adults, right, Jim?
Yes.
I mean, they're actually cringing in their seats like they don't do it.
Mhm.
But we all, our glands are filled with it. It's like hunger. When you get hungry, you eat, right?
Right.
Now, sex is in the glands, the urge to have sex, just like hunger, just like passion and feelings. Okay? But sex has been so abused, just like the word love. Now,
Mm-hmm.
in the action of sex, people, everybody has a sexual closet. What one do, one may not do. What some will not do, some will do.
Right.
Mhm.
But they all, the ejaculation is part of it. I'm just, for all the people that's watching and they feel uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
ejaculation is a part of sex. Semen or cum, or whatever you want to call it, it's a part of sex.
Yes.
Foreplay and afterplay and romance is a part of sex.
Mm-hmm.
Anal and vagina and oral sex is a part of sex. And when it's done correctly, it's healing. That's my answer. When sex is
Mm-hmm.
done, sex is not love,
Mm-hmm.
but when sex is done correctly, it's healing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is correctly? Now, we've been through the preference of cum and ejaculation. We've been through the preference of anal or vagina and vagina. We've been through the preference of oral. All these things is done during sex. So if sex is not love, where does the healing come in? And what is healed? Where does the
Every
healing come in? And what does sex heal? What does sex heal for you, ladies?
That's a good question.
I
That's a
think
really good question.
um the healing aspect comes in when there is a need for healing, and it is, to me, essentially there when the vibration and frequency of the tantric energy is represented there. So if both parties are aroused and the passion is there, um, and then there's a level of connection between the two, that energy can move and
Mhm.
flow and do what it needs to do within the body, within the spirit, within the soul.
Yeah.
It's a soul thing. It's a soul connection. It's a physical aspect and a physical connection as well. But when you get into the healing aspect of it, the whole vibration and frequency of what you're actually doing begins to move beyond the physical. And so that's when the
Right.
healing comes in for me. And what can be healed, many things can be healed. Childhood traumas can be healed. Broken hearts can be healed. A lot of different things can be healed within the act of sex. Some people are healed from things they didn't even know they needed healing from in the midst of it, but it'll come out later after the fact of having that experience because they'll
Mm.
begin to reflect upon it.
Mhm.
And they may have not thought about it in
Yeah.
years. And then they'll be like, well, why am I thinking about that now? But then they're thinking about it from a different perspective, not with all the hurt and anger or maybe frustration or whatever that had happened before. So I love that the whole idea of sexual healing, and I always think about the song by Marvin Gaye when he's essentially just crying out in that song. It's like what I need is some sexual healing. People don't realize that you actually get healed when the good vibration is there for it. Like the energy has to be present. To me, that's the only way it can actually
Mhm.
happen is that energy that the two people who are bringing are coming together, or maybe more than two, whatever, but whoever's coming together, that they're in that vibration and that in that frequency. And then that's when it can actually happen. It's magical, but everything has to play its part. Everything has to be in position and connected, but flowing freely and fluidly. You can't be like you
Mhm.
being too analytical or thinking about stuff. Nah, you can't do that. You just gotta flow.
And so, by saying
Right.
that, Kenya, what has sex healed for you?
Just recently, I had a sexual healing experience, and it began with an intimate moment that led into the physical intercourse aspect, but the healing actually started within the intimacy. And it was just an opportunity for me, because I trusted the person, to let my guards down and just be free. Sometimes people don't realize even that you're having sex or being interactive with people and having intercourse frequently or casually doesn't necessarily mean that you're totally free with them. Sometimes some people just have sex
Oh,
just to have sex because they just want to get their rocks off or whatever. But when you're really
hello.
interacting with
I can't hear
someone,
anyone.
can you hear now, Jim? Hello, Rich, you still there?
Yeah, maybe she's going out and coming back in.
Yeah. But when you're actually in the midst of it and feeling that, it makes, to me, it makes all the difference. Like when you can actually connect with the person and feel it. So that moment for me was me just flowing freely as I do with my partner, and just allowing myself to go to another level. I practice things specifically. Sex is not just an act for me. I do things purposely. So when I get in that state, arousal state, that I can manifest things and make things happen, allow things to happen for myself. So I practice tantric breathing. So I breathe a certain way when I'm having sex. Most people don't concentrate on their breathing or think about their breathing. They just breathe in and out like normal. I don't do that. I'm breathing in and out my mouth, me and my partner, because we learn different techniques about things of that nature that actually helps the flow of the energy while we're in the midst of intercourse or our intimacy. So the actual intimate act that happened for me, that began it before we got into the sexual intercourse, was massaging my body. It was a back massage. And so that's kind of like if you want to deal with root chakras and stuff like that in that area. So yeah, it was really good. But like it's part of that, what do you call it? Foreplay, like, as people would call it. But it was
Mhm.
an act that they was just like, "Do you want a massage?" And I was like, "Yeah." We weren't intending to have sex. It was just a moment of intimacy that led to that. And then that's when the healing came in that moment, because I was just free. There, Rich.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Jim.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I was asking Kenya to expound on uh what was healing for her sexually. Uh, and you remember the question, Jim?
Yeah.
And what is healing? What is sex healing?
Well, I have to agree a lot of what Queen Kenya had to say on it. And honestly, it wasn't until very recently that I experienced a sexual healing from that intimacy with someone that I had been talking to for a while now. Um, and he actually introduced me to that, as far as the tantra breathing and the little foreplay. um So for me, it's just more of just that vibration, like Kenya had mentioned, and that connection, that soul connection that the two people share is very important. Um, because and also too, it's about the intention as well. So, if you go into it with that intention that this is someone that you really care about very deeply, and you have it on your mind that you just want to please this person, you want to touch this person's
Hmm.
soul, then that's what's going to come out of it. And
Exactly.
even like, you know, Queen Kenya touched on a chakras. I didn't hear the whole answer that she said, but it hit me, and I was like, you know what, that's crazy, because I had a sexual experience where I ended up channeling a vision after we was done. I was like, whoa, hold
Hmm.
up. I was like, hold up. And it was so crazy that the vision that I had channeled from that experience was my Kundalini rising and showing me that I
Hmm.
was aligned. And it just so happened that the person that I experienced that sexual healing with was in that vision that I had. But he was out of the
Hmm.
way. He was completely out of the way. But he was watching my Kundalini with me rise in
Mm.
front of me. And I'm like, hold the front doors. Wait, what is going on here? And that's a whole different type of sexual healing, I feel
Energy.
like.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and that's just that right there. Yeah, that's some. It's serious. It's very powerful. It's very powerful when done with the right person.
And that's another thing of being able to educate yourself when in regards to the sexual act, because a lot of people don't know about tantric energy. A lot of people don't know about Kundalini rising. They don't know nothing about it. So until
Yeah,
they
and
tap in and get educated, they just going through the motions.
right, and see, it for me, I didn't really sit down and do research on it. It was just more of I trusted this person enough, and I'm quite sure he acquired the knowledge on it, and he did it to
Hmm.
me, and I didn't know there was a name for it. Honestly, I just thought he had some bomb ass foreplay, and I was like, okay, I'm with it. I'm with it, but little did I know this man was literally making love to my soul. And I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's
Yes.
why,
That's what we
you know
call
what I'm saying?
snatching the soul. Yes.
And
That's what we call
yeah, he done snatched my soul, but that's fine because I had to snatch it right back. It's okay.
it.
It's okay. So, yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been in situations where I've played tag with the soul.
Okay.
We was actually playing tag, and and this sexual healing is like I say, I'm really into the invisible existence of life. And y'all know me a little bit, and the people that know me, they know uh, um, how I talk in this. I put a little bit of it in my book. But the invisible existence of life is reality to me. Is the actuality to me, I should say. And when it comes to sexual healing, and when you talk about tantra and meditation and massage, in a holistic massage, you go beyond the body. You go beyond thought.
Hmm.
When sex is beyond thought, it's healing.
Right.
Right.
When thought is controlling sex,
It's something
this is
else.
this It's a very deep thing. It's a very deep thing, but you ladies can appreciate it because you very deep and you very in tune with your body and your aura.
Mhm.
When thought is
It.
controlling sex, pleasure is there.
Mhm.
Now, there's a difference between sensation and pleasure.
Okay, so can we talk about it?
Yeah.
Now, sensation is a feeling,
Mhm.
and when a woman has a feeling, when it comes to a sensation of a sexual nature, the woman is on the receiving end,
Mhm.
but her body is built to to be very satisfying even without the touch. This is
Mhm.
why I'm a musician. This is why most of your well, people play music with machines now, but I'm a musician where I actually play an instrument.
Right.
This is why most of your instruments are shaped like a woman.
The
Mm.
guitar in particular.
Mhm.
The guitar, the violin,
Oh,
the upright bass. You see the curves of the saxophone.
Mhm.
It's almost like kissing a woman standing up.
boy, you
Right.
better go on now.
You see the curve of a grand piano.
Right.
Mhm.
Just look at the curves of music. You look at the harp. When you see somebody playing an instrument, the musicians that's really good, they're almost like making love to it.
Exactly.
And it's such a deep thing where, but nature has a woman being very spiritual in the body shape and form. Now, when you put thought to it, thought will take thought will take the sensation to answer Jim's question, to go deeper. Thought will take a sensation and try to control it
Indeed.
to where, okay, I had that sensation before, let me try it again. Which makes you overlook that, hey, that woman liked it then doesn't mean she'll like it again.
Exactly.
Now, she will like it again, but you must pay attention more. The woman is on the receiving end, so she must be satisfied. But thought will take sensation and just think about the pleasure of the sensation and use the woman as a pleasure unit. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
It'll turn the woman into a pleasure unit when you put thought trying to control sensation. Do you see that, Jim?
Right.
Mhm.
You follow?
I follow.
This is where pornography made its mistake.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, I got nothing against pornography. I know people in the pornography business.
Mhm.
Now, it's but when you take a woman and use her as a pleasure unit, there's no
Mhm.
more healing. There's no more spirit there.
Right.
There's activity that has no healing action. You follow me?
Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what I mean by sensation is different than pleasure when thought gets a hold of it.
Mhm.
Now, I'm gonna ask Jermaine because I want a series in this. I would like to talk about this sexual healing. It's too much to say in the time we have, but
Right.
I would like for this to be ongoing because I want to talk
Mhm.
about the differences in pleasure and desire and image. You ladies follow me?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
I really want to go in all the way when it comes to the sexual act. Now, some women is not into romance. Some women is not into all the romantic and philosophy. They just say, just fuck the shit out of me.
Right.
And some women is like, look, I don't want you cursing. I don't want you looking
Right.
at me like I'm a piece of steak.
It's
They just, they want to feel appreciated in their way.
yeah. It's really about creating desire and become a reality and being
Oh, Kenya, you're going in and out. I'm sorry.
Hey, Kenya, go out and come back in.
and fulfilling it, and being
Hey,
present
Kenya,
in
you're
that
going in and
moment.
out.
I don't know why I'm going in and out. Can y'all hear me now?
Go out and come back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim, can you hear me, Jim?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm here.
But do you follow me on the pleasure and the sensation and the thought how it can change? Uh,
I do, and I just think that my take on it is just about how the king really pays attention to his queen.
right,
You know, you want to keep your queen. You like you said. You know, it may work one time, but it might not work again. Because as a queen, we are changing. We're ever changing beings. We're constantly growing every second of the day, and that's the same for kings too. Because I
right,
know sometimes as queens, we get caught up in wanting to, excuse me, wanting to you know keep a routine and be pleasured ourselves, that we don't take the time to really observe our kings and their needs and what they want out of it.
Mhm.
So I
right.
think,
Because that door.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, finish.
Oh, no,
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 go
you
ahead.
go
Make
ahead.
your. But that's what I'm saying. That door swings both ways.
Hmm.
The woman has to be careful with letting thought control the sensation,
Yeah.
and the man has to be careful in letting thought control the sensation. Because that's what I mean by this is the mistake porno made.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
has to
I got
be
nothing.
free
I
flowing.
got I got nothing against sex on camera. I got
Hmm.
nothing against that. I got nothing against burlesque and all that. I've done all that. Now, but when you just take thoughts and be like, okay, how would it look upside down? How would it look slap around? When it gets
Hmm.
to that, it's not even
Yeah,
sex anymore,
yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
right? It becomes a sport. It becomes
Exactly.
you know,
Which is what porn is, an acting sport.
yeah,
Pretty much, especially with the
yeah,
anal. That'd just be like ridiculous.
but
And I
I
was
mean,
I was saying before that being able to create the desire and be in that moment is what makes all the difference in the aspect of
Hmm.
going outside of the thought process. Like
right,
sometimes some people they want to be intimate and passionate, but they get too much in their head. Some of
right,
that is programming, some of that is mindset, how they come into the bedroom like that. Like sexual
right,
experiences, encounter, those encounters are not just, a moment that you're sharing in that moment. When you come into the bedroom, you're bringing your whole life to the bedroom. You bring your whole being, all that you have become and at that moment up until that time. So you're not leaving your belief system out the door. All of that is with you, whether you realize it or not. It's all with you. So if you're over analytical about certain things, or if you're too egotistical about certain, all that's going to come out when you start having sex in one way or another. That's the way I see it. Some fashion, some form, it's going to come out.
yeah,
Unless two
and
people, and I think another thing that's very important is that if you are choosing to be intimate with someone in that aspect, Then you really need to be able to communicate and communicate effectively. You need to have conversation around it, because if you don't really take the time to go to someone, so they might pay attention, be ways or moves when you do a certain thing. Now, I don't know why they would be, but I'm just saying in general, I've noticed that's the case. But sometimes you have to talk to people. Some people are uncomfortable, unfortunately, certain things, and it might not be because they're just like that.
Is she going in and out to you, Jim?
Yeah, 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 yeah. She's going out bad now.
Yeah, she's got a bad signal. Something's going on, and she's probably making some good points, not
I
realizing.
know, right?
So this is what we're gonna do. Um, we're gonna we're gonna go towards wrapping this up, but I want to do the a part. I want to do sessions with this. I want to do sessions with this because I
Okay.
really want to. But it's up to the Queen's Corner and it's up to Jermaine. I know I'm probably interrupting Kenya. She can probably hear me too, but we can't hear you, Kenya. So uh, we're gonna really go in because I, I really would like to do sessions with Queen's Corner on the sexual healing because I really want to get into uh, what Jim mentioned about you know like really going deeper in the motives and the pleasure and thought and how all this affects and interferes with the healing of sex or interferes with enjoying sex. And in conclusion, I would like you ladies to uh, in conclusion, I
better
would
now,
like you
Rich?
ladies. I can hear you now, Kenya, but I was probably interrupting you because I couldn't hear you.
She said she's here for the series.
Okay, if everybody can, be on the same page, including you, Jim, because I really want to go into the pleasure and the
Yeah.
image and the fears and and all these things that because sex is not talked about enough, and also I want to it's not talked about enough, and actually I really want to go into how people make sex such a bad thing, such a bad reputation. I really want to
Yeah.
get into the part where a woman sleeps around, she's called a slut, and a man sleeps around, he's called a playboy.
Right.
Really want to get into all of
That's
that.
that double standard. Let's talk about that. I'm ready for
Yeah,
it.
I want to get into it inwardly and outwardly, meaning inwardly, meaning uh, how a woman is on the receiving end and it's a privilege, and outwardly about how it's so exploited.
Yeah.
And so, those of you who may have missed a lot of the show and we had some technical difficulties interrupted, this is how we're going to close this show by we're going to give you more. I mean, it's not official yet, but I would like to do sessions on sexual healing because I really would like people to see sex as a healing action. Because men, well, you know, a lot of men and a lot of women, they just think about having some sex, getting their rocks off, as they call it. And okay, everybody went out in and out. Are we
Can you hear
back
me,
now?
Rich?
I can hear you now. Jim left though.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the system, but it's like yeah, some weird stuff. But
Yeah, we
I'm
on
all
that
for
way.
being the
Okay.
series. That's cool. That works.
Yeah, let's see if we can work out a session series because it can it's a it's a subject that needs it. nobody actually talks about it as honest as you queens was talking today. They really
Yeah.
don't.
No,
They
they
really
don't
don't.
because they are afraid and ashamed and always worrying about what other people will say to them about them. How will they think about me? How is that? Does that
Right.
match up with my morals and beliefs and yada yada yada, so forth and so on. But
Yeah. So
become when you become free and liberated, like someone such as myself, you learn to live for self and not other
Mhm.
people.
yeah, and see, and that's what the series is going to be about: getting into all the terminology, getting into all the self, getting into the me, the us, the selfishness, the because one can think about just having sex, and the woman could be on the same page. Okay, let's just get it in. Let's just do what we do, right?
Mhm.
They're not thinking about a commitment. They're not thinking about getting married. But the
Right.
universe, can create a beautiful child out of that.
Exactly.
And you and man just thinking about getting some ass.
Mhm.
So that's how deep this sexual healing is.
Right.
So in saying that, I'm going to conclude and until next Queen's Corner, we thank the Queens of Kenya and Jim and Sister Pache and Jermaine, and we're gonna bring some more lives to you on this subject because we think it's a deep subject. And Jim said some gems today, and
Mhm.
and it's like I said, this is why I want to further this because two people can just be thinking about getting some ass, and the universe creates a beautiful child out of it. And that's how deep it is. It's deeper than we think. Sex is deeper than you think, but sex is not talked about enough and honestly, like we've done today. And on that note, uh, my gratitude to the Queens, Jim, Kenya, and Sister Pache. And this is Mental Rolodeck, and this is Rich Lamar. And if you enjoy Rich Lamar, I have a platform on my own also beyond the surface, which I won't mention. But
Shameless plug.
but yeah, until next week, and until the sexual healing sessions, go in. We're really gonna go into the sexual healing sessions. So
Looking
positive
forward
energy
to
to
it.
all.